verse 10. Jesus answered and said to her, if you knew the gift of God and who it is who says to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. The woman said to him, sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where then do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as well as his sons and his livestock? Jesus answered and said to her, it's in red, whosoever drinks of this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up into everlasting life. The woman said to him, sir, give me this water, that I may not thirst, nor come here to draw. Jesus said to her, go and call your husband and come here. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus said to her, you have well said, I have no husband. For you have had 5 husbands, and the one whom you now have is not your husband. In that you spoke truly. Have acknowledgement that she's speaking the truth. Then the woman said to him, sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worship on this mountain, and you Jews say that in Jerusalem is the place where we ought to worship. Jesus said to her in red, woman, believe me, the hour has come when you will neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We know what we worship, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father is seeking such to worship him. Oh, God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. The woman said to him, I know the Messiah is coming. He must still come. Who is called Christ? When he comes, he will tell us all things. Jesus said to her in red, I who speak to you am he. She couldn't believe it. And at this point, his disciples came, and they marveled that he talked with a woman. Yet no one said, what do you seek? Or why are you talking with her? The woman then left her water pot, went her way into the city, and said to the men, come see a man who told me all things that I ever did. Could this be the Christ? Then they went out of the city and came to him. And in the meantime, his disciples urged him, saying, Rabbi, eat. But he said to them, I have food to eat of which you do not know. Therefore the disciples said to one another, has anyone brought him anything to eat? Jesus said to them in red, my food is to do the will of him who sent me, and to finish his work. Just do it, but I have to finish it. Do you not know? Do you not say, there are still 4 months in, then comes the harvest? Behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and look at the fields, for they are already white for harvest. There's a white harvest coming. Hallelujah. And he who reaps receives wages and gathers fruit for eternal life, that both he who sows and he who reaps may rejoice together. So you sow and you reap and you rejoice together. For it in this, he says, is true. One sows and another reaps. I sent you to reap that for which you have not labored. Others have labored, and you have entered into their labors. And many others, the story becomes great and powerful and excited now. That this woman experienced, you notice, I'm just reading the story, I'm not going to minister on. Notice, after the master spoke to her, she left the pot. She doesn't need that pot anymore, because when the oil comes in you and the living water starts flowing through you, God now uses you as the water pot. He wants to flow through you. But this story is very significant, because the Bible says he left and she spoke to the men in the city. She said, come see a man who tells me everything. Isn't that was probably the Messiah? And then the Bible says she convinced many men in the city to start believing in Jesus Christ. This story is a very